Welcome back to Sportsbook Review Videos. Super Bowl 50 is just over a week away, and it is once again time for me to release my prop betting wagers, this time from Bovada Sportsbook after a big weekend of prop betting here from the conference championship games. Let's see if we can cash three more winners here in the props for Super Bowl 50. And we'll start it off with Peyton Manning and his over-under for passing yards here at 235.5. Now, of course, the Broncos beat up on the Patriots in the AFC title game, but it was mainly their defense doing the work. Manning only had 176 passing yards last week, and now going up against a much better Carolina defense than the New England Patriots put up last week. Really, pretty much average secondary that the Broncos beat up on this past week. If Manning is once again relegated to game manager duty, I think the 235.5 passing yards total that Bovada has right now as their prop wager is much too high. The under also much better value here on the NFL odds at minus 105, and I think it's a very good play here. Carolina was the #1 team in the NFL during the regular season in limiting opposing quarterbacks' quarterback rating. Only 73.5 in this one. Of course, they beat up on Russell Wilson in the first half of that game. Wilson ended up with a ton of passing yards, but he was limited to less than 100 in the first half. And if Manning can only get to 176 in the entire game against the Patriots, I doubt he's going to get to 235 against the Carolina Panthers in this one, even if we see yet another good performance by Peyton Manning early on in this one. So take under at 235.5. The next one's a really valuable wager, I think, and it's which receiver will have the most passing yards between the two teams. You can choose, obviously, from any of them. The two Broncos receivers are the most favored because I think people assume that they'll be coming from behind in this one. But if Manning only puts up about 200 yards in this one, they're probably not going to get a chance to be the #1 receivers in this game. And despite the fact that the Panthers have been up early in both of the games they've played here, Greg Olsen has still had fantastic receiving numbers here over the last couple of weeks. He had 116 receiving yards last week, and he is at 3-1 to lead this game in receiving yards this week. I think it's an absolutely incredible value for Greg Olsen here in this one. The Broncos, as good as their defense has been, has had some trouble during the regular season at least defending the tight end. In fact, they gave up the 11th most yards to opposing tight ends during the regular season, gave up some huge performances to Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski. I think Greg Olsen could beat out Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders to be the #1 receiver in this game. Even if the Panthers get up early, I think he'll still be heavily targeted at least 10 or 11 times. Take Greg Olsen at plus 300. Now, finally, Carolina Panthers over-under for touchdowns in this one comes in at 3 even. I think without the hook, very good value here potentially to go over for a couple of reasons. One, without that half point, it obviously leaves open the potential for a push, and on top of that, even money is the NFL odds right now for the over for the Panthers to get above the 3 touchdown mark with the way they've been playing recently, scoring a total of 80 points here through the playoffs here through their first 2 games. I think the Broncos defense can cede 3 or 4 touchdowns to the Carolina Panthers in this one. Of course, they limited Tom Brady, but one of the big reasons for that was because the Patriots offensive line was playing awful. Of course, the Patriots also did not have a run game. 2 things the Carolina Panthers are not going to have to worry about. And on top of that, the Broncos start to blitzing Cam Newton. Cam's just going to run out of there and scramble and get down the field by himself through his legs. So I think with all the diverse offensive weapons that the Panthers have, including Cam Newton, the eventual MVP, I like the Panthers to score more than 3 touchdowns at plus 100. Those are your Super Bowl 50 prop betting picks. Best of luck to you on those. Of course, we'll be back for more NFL coverage for the big game all next week. But until then, for Sportsbook Review, I'm Jordan Sharp.